stocks. Well, the market, it's interesting actually. It's not falling much, but the gains have been capped. If you see, the market made a bit of an intraday top somewhere around 12 o'clock, and since then it's not fallen much, but it's not actually adding more weight. So maybe not too many aggressive positions are being taken. Though the F&O volumes have picked up quite significantly in last hour of trade. The options volumes in particular, and if you see the kind of build-up that we are seeing at 8,000 call right now, that's interesting. 8,000 call adding about close to 20 lakh shares in open interest, and the volumes at 8,000 call are really big. It's easily the top traded strike at this point in time, and there's quite a bit of surge of premium. So maybe that's a bit of a punting trade going on in case the market has to see further short covering rally tomorrow. But let's talk about some more stocks then, and the kind of moves that we have seen in some of these names. Mr. Sen, Reliance Communication has started another round of up move. It topped out after the event, and from the recent lows, it started to rally again.
See, I think, Anuj, if they really want to have a bigger jump, maybe in the, say, they have to cross 90, they have to show some performance of debt reduction or maybe the asset monetization. Because the market got enthused with that tower sale and all that. But the moment that announcement came that they have just signed a term sheet, so probably, maybe some kind of interest is coming back into the stock that the deal is likely to happen. So unless until we see some serious or maybe consummation of the deal, but market seems this time that probably 22,000 from tower, 8,000 maybe from the cables, the optical fiber cables or that infrastructure and all that. Those two things are likely to get monetized, and market is probably banking on that. But the moment that news will come that yes, deal has been entered into, I think that will be a very big trigger, and stock can move past 90 or 92, and I won't be surprised even if it breaches 3 or if touches 3-digit marks as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the word coming in on Relcom. By the way, despite the market moving up higher, there are some banks that continue to hit new lows, and Punjab National Bank is one of them. Now that stock has breached even 120 on the downside, and that's a loss of almost 45% this year. It's hit a fresh low in trade today. So PNB is one stock reeling under intense pressure. But let's get Funny Shekhar into this discussion. He's from Carvey Stock Broking, and he joins us now. Funny, hi, good afternoon. Well, everyone's going to be talking about the Fed tomorrow, but the other event that's happening is the new listing, or rather the new IPO that opens tomorrow, which is Narayana Health. Everyone's talking about that in the pharmaceutical space. Very steep valuations, expensive one. But what do you recommend investors do?
Well, we are party to the transaction, and hence I am restrained from commenting on it, Sonia.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then let's talk about some of the listed stocks. The biggest loser today, M&M. What would your view be on that?
Well, there I guess the concerns have only started, because if Supreme Court were to really carry out its interim stay into a final judgment, then I guess I'm afraid that this trend might not stop at Delhi and might continue to hit all the major metros. And to that extent, I think M&M with its SUV portfolio in diesel might be one of the biggest casualties in the listed auto space. So with the tractors not really doing well, the winter crop also is not very encouraging. One has to see how promising the next monsoons are. Till such time, I guess the next 3 to 6 months will certainly be a period of deep overhang for M&M. And to that extent, if any long-term investor wants to take a trade in this, it's a good idea to look at it on steeper declines.
Okay, what about something like an ONGC or KN Funny, where we have seen, the stocks, of course, having halved this year, but today we have seen big moves in both these names.
Well, oil prices have become a third, Anuj. So, and if you consider the debt in some of these companies, although, both of them don't have their net cash. So considering that the oil prices have, especially in case of ONGC, it's a very peculiar formula where they don't gain beyond $60 of oil price, but they lose on the downside. So I guess from time to time you might see some kind of trading bounce backs depending on where oil is, but considering the current trend or consensus trend in oil, which doesn't expect it to cross $45 over the next 6 months or so, it's a good idea to give a miss to both these stocks.
Okay, fair enough. Sudarshan, come in on some of these names. The biggest gainer today is ONGC, up about 4% but it has a lot of these other oil and gas names for company as well. Any of them that you would trade on the long side?
Well, the one that I would certainly trade on the long side is Interpress Gas, IG Gas. I think that stock is now breaking out to new highs and there is much more upside there. And it's an easy buy. You just buy it and hold it.
Okay, that's on IGL, probably the stock of the day today. But in terms of some other stocks, let's pull out the intraday chart of HCL Tech, and that stock has actually slipped into the red. There are a couple of stocks which are now seeing a clear profit booking, and HCL Tech stands out in that. This is a steep vertical decline that took place on HCL Tech, and that stock is down. Even GAIL has actually slipped quite a bit in the morning. GAIL was up, what, 4% or so, but pull out the intraday chart of GAIL and you will see, yeah, from that point it's been steadily falling. Mr. Tulsian, this entire space has been buzzing today. We have ONGC and Cairn rallying 4%. GAIL, though, has given up all the gains from the high point. How do you explain that?
See, Anuj, actually, if you see GAIL, it has moved to 370, maybe in the last series, and actually that was unwarranted. I don't think that any kind of benefit is seen flowing into the GAIL, as long as they continue to have their petrochemical division, which is bleeding. And even on the core business also, they are all, not performing as well. And actually, the trading, whenever you have such a trading grip, by the strong hands, they do see, the exit or the profit booking has been seen in the stock for last maybe I would say that with start of this series. Today, in fact, again, it was up by about, I think, 5% since morning. And this kind of abrupt, exit will be seen. So these kind of stocks are quite dangerous. Same thing can happen for a Petronet LNG also. If you see about, since you have touched on this gas space, a couple of weeks back or maybe 10 days, a week back, they touched a 52-week high. Again, there was no justification for that, because all the positives are factored in. Indraprastha gas is totally a different story because of the CNG and, because of the Delhi issues and all that. So I'm keeping my cautious view on GAIL and Petronet LNG both.
Okay, Petronet LNG was the second stock that Mr. Tulsian spoke about, saying that that's also a stock where he'll be cautious, both on GAIL and Petronet LNG. IGL, of course, is a different story. Anand, we were talking about IGL, but the problem remains that, they don't have the capacity right now. In Delhi, there's almost 2 or 3 kilometer lines at time to service the existing CNG buses and cars. Do you think the market is getting too excited, and is there a case for maybe booking some profit here?
Well, near term possibly, but I don't think so, because broadly the distribution of gas is a business that will continue to grow. One of the challenges was lack of availability and the pricing at which you are getting it, both of which are likely to get solved over the next few years, and the market will continue to be deeper and deeper. So from a very long-term perspective, I think IGL, Gujarat Gas kind of companies are companies that you might want to own in the portfolio. Trading is a different perspective altogether, though I think the rally just probably started, so I wouldn't be in a hurry to sell either way.